The thing is that when people talk about TD business loan, people ask themselves, am I applying for the right loan amount? Am I applying for the right type of loan? And my question to you is, are you in the right geography? Are you in one state that is covered by TD Bank? Because TD is, when you think about TD Bank, you got to think about geo restriction. Okay, so it's very important. They're not present in all 50 states. They are available primarily in the Northeast. So you got to ask yourself whether or not you qualify. Your business qualifies in the first place. So in today's conversation, I want to talk to you about TD business loans. And so here's the overview I really want you to pay attention to. So when we talk about TD business loans, and here is a program, a funding program that is that allows EIN, so you can actually apply with EIN if you know how to apply. And so let's talk about the loans first. So you have the loans. I'll talk to you about the loans, the lines of credit, the commercial real estate loans and mortgages, and the SBA loans. So let's first talk about the TD business loans. So here you have a funding program, a business funding program that actually lasts from 1 to 5 years. So that's the window that they're actually giving you. So you have a one-time disbursement of funds that you get the funds at closing. And basically the amount here is, so it goes to $5 million. So you have but the thing is under $250,000, you can actually download the application and actually apply. You can just fill out the application and apply online, not a problem, or at a branch. Now, if you are applying for an amount that is over $250,000, so if you're above $250,000, you gotta necessarily, this is mandatory, you gotta go to a branch. So basically, when you go to a branch, what will happen here is that a TD will actually, like a TD staff member, will pay attention to your application profile and everything, and will discuss the ins and outs of your business loan application with you to see what kinds of transactions you want to be financed. You know, you can get a loan to do a lot of things. You can purchase another business. You can try to fund a used vehicle or equipment. You can do a lot of things. And TD is really concerned about how you are going to repay the loan. They're not about, I mean, of course, they want to know what you're going to do, what you're going to use the money for, but they're more interested in what you're going to do, like your repayment capacity, your repayment plan. Okay. So long story short, when you think about TD business loans, you have actually, you can go all the way to $5 million, and EIN application is possible. You can apply with your EIN if you apply at a branch, not a problem. The second thing I want you to really think about when you think about TD business loans, you want to think about the lines of credit. So they have a business lines of credit. And the cool thing, what we love about TD is that they're very flexible. They're very flexible. They're not going, you know, sometimes you have lenders who actually give you the cash, and now they're trying to complicate things for you, trying to ask you like anytime you want to draw on the business line of credit, it's all like it's just a lot of paperwork. And you're like, you know what, I'm out of here. But TD doesn't do that. The thing is, once they approve the line of credit that you have, that money is yours. Okay. And basically, I mean, it's yours. It's yours to use. So basically what will happen here is that if you need the cash, they are going to put you in contact with a business, like a loan representative. You just need to contact your business loan representative and say, listen, I will need 25 grand out of my approved line of credit. So what will happen here is that in the next 2 hours, maximum 2 hours, the cash will be available for you to actually draw. Okay, so it's very simple. Now the process, the application process, is kind of similar to what we have with a business loan. So basically, under $250,000, you can apply online. Over $250,000, you have to necessarily go to a branch. By the way, boss, I'm not sure that I really welcome you back to the show, but if I didn't, I want to say right now, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here and to sort of discuss with you a series of things about the TD business loans and sort of help you understand the EIN only option that's available. And I also want to take the opportunity to remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about TD business loans, EIN option possible, and it's really important to understand that when it comes to the EIN only, I would say, application, whether you're looking for a TD business loan or a TD business line of credit, you need to have three things. And we have said this over and over again. And some of our viewers are really surprised that it's that easy. It is easy, but you have to actually plan the terrain. You have to plan the field. So you need three things. You need to have your business plan. You got to have a business plan. You got to have whatever licenses and certificates that are applicable to your industry. And the third thing is you got to have your financials. Your financials, those could be projected or could be real. It could be actual. So you have actual data. So let's say for the last, usually TD like to have they like to have financials for the last 3 years so they can see like historical evolution, whether you're making money or losing money. And so in the same department as financials, they like to see also your tax returns, your business tax returns. So make sure that you actually have that also, your 1065, your 1120S or 1120C. I mean, your 1120, depending on the legal structure that you have. Okay. So this is really important to really have this in mind. The third thing I want to talk to you about this is that when you think about TD business loans, and going back to what I've said about the geolocation, the geo-restriction nature of the bank itself. I mean, TD is not a national bank, okay? They're not even a tier 2 in our analysis. They're not a tier 2 bank because tier 2 refers to the likes of US Bank, PNC, Truist, Fifth Third, okay? And tier 3, you're having BMO, you're having TD Bank, you're having Capital One. Because tier 1 will be the Wells Fargo of the world, the Citi of the world, the Chase of the world, and you're having also the Bank of America of the world, right? So when I want to talk about the commercial real estate loans and mortgages, here TD is very generous, okay? They can actually fund you all the way to $50 million. We have seen transactions, we have guided clients on transactions where TD was actually financing either as a primary financier or as a secondary financier. They were funding a loan program, a CRE, a commercial real estate loan program that actually went all the way to $18 million. Okay, so so TD Bank does have the balance sheet. They do have the expertise. They do have the acumen to actually accompany you, no matter the size of your commercial real estate loans. Okay, so this is an important element to really pay attention to, because even though we say that TD Bank is not a bank that is nationally present, they still have a gigantic balance sheet. Okay, we're talking about billions and billions and billions of dollars in assets. So this is a great bank to work with. Okay. One thing I want to say here is that if you are interested in having a commercial real estate loan application, do not apply online. You want to start everything necessarily at a branch, but you want to really start first. You want to call 1-855-278-8988. So what will happen here is that they will actually put you in contact with a small business specialist. So this will be your point of contact. And so the number once again is 1-855-278-8988. And so the availability here is Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. And one thing I also want to say here is that please, you want to start a little early, because commercial real estate loan transactions take a little bit of time to close at TD. I mean, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks on average, but normally you can expect 45 days maximum. I also want to talk to you about the SBA loans. So when we talk about TD business loans, you have to understand there is a constellation of business funding programs that actually start with regular installment loans. You also have business lines of credit. You have commercial real estate loans that I just said, and mortgages, and then you have SBA loans. So your SBA loans are loans that are backed by the U.S. government through the U.S. Small Business Administration. SBA, okay. And what will happen here is that TD is a preferred SBA lender, so they will so the bank will actually work with you and bring all its expertise, all its know-how, all its acumen to kind of help you get approved, okay. And so you can enjoy massive approvals real fast if you actually meet the conditions. The only thing is that the requirements for SBA loans are stricter than a regular loan, because those are loans that are really run by the federal government, and the federal government and Congress have actually put in place stricter guidelines that all banks that are in the SBA lending program must adhere by. So they must adhere to. So they don't have to actually. So TD is not going to negotiate with you on that front here. So you just need to have the right application. By the way, boss, I want to remind you once again of today's topic. I am talking to you about TD business loans. I'm giving you the best hack, the freshest hack, the most updated hacks that will help you actually get approved. And one thing I want to say here is that an SBA loan is great for longer term financing. If you are requiring, let's say you want a transaction where you are looking for minimal equity requirements, you want to go with an SBA loan. If you are thinking about capital preservation, in other words, you want to use your cash for other stuff. Let's say you're running a business right now and you are generating cash. You know that revenue is coming. but you want to grow more, and you can't really sacrifice the little liquidity that's coming to actually finance the long-term loans, the long-term goals. This is where you want to actually tap into a funding program such as the SBA loans. That way, you're actually taking care of, you are leaving your current liquidity intact, so you can use it to take care of business, like make payroll, for instance, take care of vendors, pay for inventory, and what have you. So this is giving you liquidity, some kind of breathing room in your liquidity strategy, okay? And you have faster access to loan proceeds also. You have shorter turnaround times if you have, again, the right application package. Now let me talk to you about. So I've talked to you about the four types of TD business loans. So if you want to contact TD business loans, you need to make sure that the loan that you are requesting is actually part of that quartet: TD business loans, TD business lines of credit, TD commercial real estate loans and mortgages, and SBA loans. Now the thing here is this is really interesting. Folks actually talk about, I want to get a loan at TD, and I've tried everything. And sometimes they just reject my ass, and I'm just so discouraged. Well, son, daughter, it's only because you haven't applied properly. There is a formula for success, and I'm going to give it to you right now, where that you need to follow if you are trying to get a business loan at TD. The first thing you want to do here is you need to understand your what kind of needs you have, what kind of needs you are trying to fulfill by actually applying. The reason why is because, you are going to respond to a very important question. TD is going to ask you, what is the use of loan proceeds? What do you need the cash for? So you need to explain why. So this is why you need to really know yourself, whether you are going to use the funds for purchasing equipment, you want to use the funds for working capital, you want to purchase property, for instance, you want to refinance a current business loan, you want to expand your business. All kinds of reasons can actually push you to seek a TD business loan. And so once you understand properly your business's needs, you want to really draw on a piece of paper, and so you have a clear idea how much you need. Okay, do you need 25 grand? Do you need 23 grand? Do you need 42 grand? And you see, we're not talking here about just like a round number. No, be granular. The more granular you are, the better, because TD will know that, hey, listen, a lot of thoughts went into this analysis. It wasn't just something that this person came up with. It was just a lot of thoughts that really that preceded this result. So this is kind of cool. So when we talk about you determining how much you can borrow, you really have to pay attention to the ability to repay the loan too. Okay, and ask yourself, am I eligible? Because TD has some guidelines when it comes to a credit score. Usually they will approve you around 585 or 585. That's the minimum. And time in business, if you are in business for 6 months, they'll take care. They'll accept you. In terms of annual revenue, depending on the loan that you're asking for, they want you to be like to be making at least 10 grand a month. And so in some cases, you might have to actually pledge some PG, some collateral, some personal guarantee. So those are things, among other things, that you have to think about. Okay. And the thing here is that, so once you have done all that analysis, you got to ask yourself, what types of loans should I go for? Because TD, as I told you, has a quartet when it comes to the business loans that it offers. You got to ask yourself, which one do I want? Do I want a TD term loan, like business term loan, or should I go with an equipment loan? Because within the umbrella of loans, you can have equipment loans also. You can have term loans. You can have startup loans. Okay, and in some cases, TD might actually arrange for you an invoice financing process. In other words, they actually will buy your accounts receivable for you. Okay, but again, TD does not do invoice factoring or invoice financing, but we have seen them do this exceptionally for preferred clients. If you're a preferred client, they will front you the cash that you need to sort of get your business going, and they will actually go back and recoup the loan from your accounts receivable from your customers. So this is totally possible. So, and you want to see whether or not TD is actually the best bank for you. Because sometimes you can just sit around and just say, listen, I need a loan from TD. TD is my favorite bank, and I want to do all my business with them. And then, but once you start digging, you realize that, hey, listen, their conditions are not really the best for you. after analyzing all terms and conditions, you realize, no, this is not what you want right now, and at this time. So this is maybe the time when you have to look for, you have to explore available lenders. I mean, maybe in the area where you are currently at, you have banks and credit unions, you have online lenders, you have micro lenders, you have alternative lenders. So this is where the research must start, and you have to really ask yourself whether or not you should just go with an online lender. But it also depends on the kind of loan the kind of business loan you want too, though. Because if you want, let's say you want a business loan or credit, and TD is not the right lender for you, then you might want to go for like On Deck, for instance, or Blue Vine, for example, or Smart Base, for example, because there are some lenders that are really specialized in specific types of business loans. Okay, so this is important when you think about exploring available lenders. Always pay attention to pre-qualifying first. You want to make sure that you pre-qualify for the loan or line of credit, so you know how much you could get if you were to actually apply for real. That way, you are preserving your FICO score. And again, this is if you do not want to apply with your EIN only. I mean, you do not want to apply with EIN, because you can say, you know what, I like the idea of applying for a business loan with EIN, but I just prefer my FICO score because I know my FICO score is kind of high, and I want to parlay that high FICO score into a great terms and conditions on the business loan I'm getting. So this is a possibility too. We understand that. We actually have seen a lot of clients who actually love that option, because traditionally everybody's kind of scared as hell of using, like everybody, I'm talking about every entrepreneur is scared as hell of using his or her social security number to apply for a business loan. But there are some people, I mean, there are a few of them, and they're not really a lot, but they're so comfortable with their social security number that they'll just rather just apply with it. Because listen, if you are if you are having 752 or 800 FICO score, and you know that your payday score, your business credit score is like 65 or 55, you might as well just apply for a business loan using your FICO score than using your payday score, for example. Here is that, if you want to apply for a TD business loan with EIN only or without EIN only, just make sure that going back to what I said about I mentioned the three types of business documents that they ask. Primarily, they ask a business plan. They ask for your financials, including bank statements and tax returns, and they ask for all the business licenses and permits that pertain to your specific industry. Make sure that you really have everything handy and everything updated, though, because they check. I mean, TD Bank is really granular. Like, their underwriting department is really granular, especially the amount you're asking for are kind of high. Like, if you're asking for anything above $250,000, they'll start digging like crazy. Like, they really, really will start digging like crazy. So this is an important element to keep in mind. And when we talk about granularity in terms of the figures you're communicating to TD, just make sure that you actually pay attention to your revenue amounts. So part of your revenue. So TD is looking at two things. When they analyze your revenue, they pay attention to two things. They pay attention to your income statement, and they pay attention to your cash flow statements. And the thing is, when they pay attention to your income statement, they just want to see the amount of cash you are generating, but also the amount of accounts receivable you have outstanding, and how long it takes you to collect those outstanding accounts receivable. Because the thing is, before you know it, you might always maybe you have a problem collecting your accounts receivable. In other words, number of days your accounts receivable is your account receivables it's outstanding is just too high. So this could actually have a detrimental effect on your liquidity level and down the road. Okay, so TD also pays attention to your balance sheet and your cash flow statements to sort of see your cash flows from operating activities, your cash flows from financing activities, and your cash flows from investing activities, so that TD Bank will have a clear idea if you are running a profitable business or you're just wasting your time in the industry. So those things, among other things, by the way, are important from an underwriting perspective. And so again, make sure if you want to apply with EIN only, do not apply online in all cases. Anytime you want to apply for a business loan or business line of credit using EIN only, you cannot do it on the phone, or you can't do it online. You have to bring your ass to the branch and really sit with someone to have a conversation and bring all the paperwork that you need. You need to bring all the paperwork that you need to be approved. Thank Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about TD business loans, and I give you all the ins and outs, all the latest hacks that you need to have in mind so that you can be approved right away. So I spoke to you. I give you the overview, the pro tips, and I'm giving you the recap. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.